Hi, everybody. You're with the Real Poker Girls of Las Vegas. And to my left is Rebecca Scales. To my right is Tatiana. And I'm Lupe Soto, your hosts. And all the way to my right is the fabulous Jeanne David, who will be our guest today. She is the newly inducted person to the Women in Poker Hall of Fame. And we're going to talk to her in just a bit about all that really good stuff. But
Yay, Jeanne.
I know. And
I was scared there. I'm like, if she didn't make it, I would have freaked out.
Okay. In all reality, this is one of those years, and for a little bit of background, it is a very well-kept secret about who gets how many votes, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff. We never tell anybody. Even after they're elected, we won't tell them. But, we do share with the hall members exactly where the points break down, but we don't say who voted how to be able to obtain those points. I have never had so many people trying to call me and ask, okay, I want to know. You got to tell me now. I won't tell anybody. I was like, man, I could have made a freaking mint this year if I had said, okay, pay me $100 and I'll tell you what, who won what, but it was really, really funny. And I'm telling you, it wasn't just.
I had it everywhere.
Oh, me too.
Everywhere. I was ringing Rebecca saying, I'm not going to be the girl that spills the beans. And she's like, neither am I. So we didn't say a word and hounded every day.
Yeah. Well, the only reason that these two found out slightly early, the very earliest, is because we had the broadcast and we had to be able to, share it on the broadcast. But
I had people calling me saying, I know you got in. And how would you know if I don't know? I didn't know. I said, Lupe hasn't told me anything.
No. They were trying to pump you for information.
Absolutely.
They were fishing.
But it was a lovely, lovely event.
It was.
And Jeanne, I walked into the hall as a, schlepping with all of our stuff because we were prepping the room and everything. And the first thing I get is, did you hear what happened to Jeanne?
Oh, my God.
And I was like,
Jeanne,
what? And they said,
I
said, what do you mean what happened to Jeanne? They said, yes, she was run over. And I was like, okay, somebody's punking me now. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, right.
True
she
story.
was run over. Actually, she was run over.
Like the day of?
Tell us the story about what happened to you.
I will tell you about the day.
Tell me about your whole day. Yeah.
So this was the day before. The first thing is I went and had breakfast with an old colleague of mine who now runs the WPT online portion. So WPT online. And I said, Alex, can you get me a seat into the millions, the WPT Global? And he said, no, I don't even know anybody there, but they have a drawing. You can pick one card out of the thing. You'll probably get a hat or a t-shirt or something. Let's go upstairs. So we go upstairs and I go and pick and I open up the card and there was nothing in there. And I was like, what? Shouldn't I even get a hat? So I said, there's nothing. And then I opened up the other side and I won the seat into the Global. And I was so excited. So I had friends in town that came in for the whip-off ceremony. They flew in from New York. And I said, well, okay, meet me. I'm having breakfast. Meet me at the Horseshoe. Mm-hmm. We'll go play a tournament. A little $100 tournament. So I go to the Horseshoe. They're not there yet. And I go and play my second hand. I pick up pocket kings. I get it all in and the guy has aces and I get knocked out.
Okay. Imagine that.
So something great happened and something bad happened. Then I'm just playing and I'm playing video poker and I end up getting 4 aces and win a bunch of money. And my friend Stephanie finally showed up and I said, do you want to, I'll go back in so you can play and I'll re-enter. And she goes, no, let's go to the Orleans. We're just casino hopping. She goes, let's go to the Orleans. I said, okay. We went to get her car. I drive up. I'm driving her rent-a-car. We pull up into the Horseshoe Valet and I get out of the car and I go to turn around to close the door and a taxi ran over my foot.
Oh, my
She
God.
thinks this is funny.
I know, I should be laughing. I'm sorry, Jeanne.
And my friend's like, what is happening? And then we're screaming at this woman, get out of the car. And she's on the phone and she gets out of the car, comes around. I'm on the floor screaming in pain because ultimately I found out that she broke my 2 toes. So And she comes out and whoever I think she was talking to her boss, covering her ass and saying, "Oh, this woman just ran in front of my car. Yes, I purposely put my foot under your car and so you can run me over."
Valet, yeah.
So I spent the entire evening in the emergency room. And I show up the next day. I bought this. I don't wear dresses. You guys know me. You've never seen me in a dress. 40 years. Yeah. I bought a dress and I bought high heels and I show up in this beautiful dress and a boot and a scooter. Yes. And I didn't even have a chance to tell anybody. Yeah. That's what happened. One of the biggest days of my life. Really, it was. And showed up with a boot.
Yeah.
Well, your dress was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you.
Nice.
And you would have never known it from here up because you looked amazing.
Oh, thank you. That was, it was wonderful.
It was. It was a really nice event. And if you go to, I think we have it on the Hall of Fame. If we don't, it'll be
I have it
soon.
on YouTube.
Yeah, on the
So
YouTube.
somebody filmed it and I put it on YouTube and I put Debbie's introduction and then I put my speech.
That's fantastic.
So what's your YouTube channel?
Just under my name.
Jeanne David?
David.
I think so.
Cool. So you can find it there, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
Jeanne
perfect.
David YouTube.
That's wonderful. But it was a lovely event and you told some funny stories.
I made fun of you.
Just a little, yeah. But it was.
I did tell some funny stories. I felt that it was really important for people, like, they don't know why I was inducted. And, obviously, yes, I'm a mixed game player and, I do a lot of stuff in Vegas regarding mixed games. But the online regulation, online poker, I don't think a lot of people know because I don't really self-promote too much and I don't talk about myself. And I thought it was important to tell my entire story in 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's very interesting because to that point, a lot of people who are not of that personality just wear their stuff, close their chest. They don't say anything to anybody. And then you get these other people that got 2 seconds of fame. And they've got YouTube channels that are like, now mind you, she had to create this YouTube channel, put this thing up there. She didn't know she had one somewhere.
I didn't. It had pictures of it had videos of my cats. I didn't even know that I had a YouTube channel, but I wanted to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody suggested put it on YouTube so this way people who couldn't make it to the celebration could hear the speech.
Right.
And then it was really amazing because I did talk about my history and my drug use in the 70s. And I was amazed how many people came up to me and shared stories with me, like, my son, my daughter, or myself. And it was...
Well, it was the 70s, girl. It was a different time.
It really was.
Yes, it was.
I did an interview. I'm going to leave the name of the organization alone because I was a little upset, but I did an interview and I talked about my drug use for about 5 minutes. And I said, as I said in my speech, the 70s was a time of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And I took the drugs part seriously. And, that's what happened to me. And they titled the article, Sex, Drugs, and Mixed Games.
Oh, geez.
Oh, my goodness.
And I thought, really? Like,
I could guess.
So I give you...
Clickbait, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Sex, drugs, and mixed games. Like, it had nothing to do with sex, and the drugs was just a little blip of my story.
And your journey.
Yes, and my journey, through getting a master's degree at 50 years old and going on and becoming a director of a substance abuse program. But the title was so disturbing to me, and I got somebody to change it.
Well, that's a good thing.
That's a good thing, yeah. Because it defeats the purpose of...
It did a little bit.
I kind of hate that part of media in our industry.
Clickbait.
It is clickbait. And it's like, we have so much substance in our industry that we don't need the sensationalism.
Right.
Yeah.
People want to know about what's happening in our industry. People want to hear about people's successes or, the challenges that arise in different organizations or whatever. We don't need all that.
No.
And I think that it diminishes the sophistication of the industry when we do something like that. So I'm glad that you challenged them on it because that wasn't right.
Yeah, and I haven't told you, but lots of younger girls, I'm not that young anymore, but younger than me even, reached out to me and said, I didn't know that about Jeannie and I've had problems myself. And I'm like, well, reach out to her.
Mhm.
because she's really cool, you know. And
I had people
yeah,
come up to me after, were crying and saying,
Yeah.
I really identified with that part of the story, and we have to talk. And, I have a son that has problems, and I don't know what to do. And, it was heartwarming just to hear some of these people talk to me and tell me that much they related. I had no idea.
Yeah.
and that's why you're an amazing ambassador for
You're so
women
sweet.
in poker. It's
Yeah.
true.
The
because-
real deal, baby. The
It's
real
true
deal.
because so many people are like, I'm an ambassador, poker ambassador at this poker festival, and well, act like one. It's
Mhm.
not just playing right; it's being all inclusive. It's being respectful. It's being kind. It's like promoting the industry. It's all of it.
Mhm.
Not
It is.
not being a little, look, I'm not going to say it, but
Yeah.
it's a big deal to be an ambassador or in a position like
Well, people should always be ambassadors. I don't need to be in the Women's Poker Hall of Fame to be an ambassador for women for poker. I said this in one of the articles when they were interviewing me. There's two things I never do. Unless we're all kidding around and we're all friends and,
Yeah.
screaming at
stuff
each
we'll
other
say
and laughing.
to each other, yeah.
I will never berate anybody for if I get a bad beat. I will never berate them for the hand they played because that's your money. That's your buy-in. You play however you want. I don't care. Listen, I want you to come to the river with me. And if you get lucky, well, God bless you. And I will never show emotion if I do get a bad beat. I will not show emotion about getting upset. I don't excessively celebrate. If I win, I take the pot. Especially if it's a bad beat.
Yeah.
Unless it's one of my friends. I just want to dig a little.
Well, you knocked me out in Malta. Did I care? I laughed. Like you
Yes.
said, I've
I
got
never
it.
get mad at the
Yeah.
table.
No,
Ever.
you can't.
Yeah,
and I
and I don't
see
get
that
tilted at all.
happen all the time. I actually see it with men a lot more than women. Like men get so upset when you beat them in a hand and, they start talking about how they were a favorite. Okay. You want to go make out later? I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I put it in like baseball terms. Like striking out is part of the game. Losing is part of poker. And you got to be able to do it gracefully. And if you, strike out, 2 times out of 4 times of being out, you're still a good baseball player. So I look at it the same way.
And I look at it like baseball too. Sometimes you got to take the whole team out on the field and just go for it.
You do.
No, I'm kidding.
I mean, if they hit your pitcher,
That's right. Heating in there.
Take on the whole dugout. Let's go.
Let's go.
Now, how's the horse league going? Because you're in a new year now, so to 2025.
I don't want
only-
to talk about it. I got knocked out first.
Oh
No,
what?
we
We
have-
actually got a one pointer.
I got
day?
1 point.
Wow.
Last
I was a
Saturday.
one pointer once.
There's a level of shame associated with being the first person out.
Wow.
And I still feel like that.
yeah.
I was the first person out. That's never happened to me in the league before. I have, for as many years as I've been running the league, I've always managed to get a seat. I've gotten the top prize a couple of times. And there was only one time, which happened to be last year, and I lost by 1 point. I did not get a seat, which is fine. There's 36 players, and a lot of them are really good. But for me to get knocked out first, I was mortified. And I just walked away like, oh my God, my life is ending.
But did you sign the sheet before you were mortified to walk away?
No, I didn't. I texted Holly, I'm out.
Oh, are you supposed to sign
And
a
I
sheet?
won.
I don't think I've ever signed a
I
sheet.
did come back. Actually, I
You
came
have to
back and
sign
I
your
played a tournament that was going on at the same time, and people were like, "What happened?" The dealer looks at me, and I said, "Really, you want to shame me even more than I already feel?" But no, the league is going well. The league is going great.
Still a big waiting list, probably bigger now.
There's a big waiting list, and people don't leave.
Yeah.
And
I say it takes death to get in.
it does. It takes a lot. And then we have people who I have always said, if you leave, because you have to leave and then you want to come back, you'll always be at the top of the list, especially if there's somebody in good standing. And one of those people, for example, is Troy Lee. He made a mistake in his schedule and he could have played, but he gave up his seat. So if anybody decides to leave the league because they move away or they're not having fun or they're never showing up and, taking up space. So we'll give the seat to him.
Yeah, I found it pretty interesting that there are some members of the league who really have utilized the league to learn the game.
That's
me.
absolutely true.
Yeah.
And
They
I
wanna
think
play.
that is so impressive because that takes a lot of guts to join into something, to commit to something like that. And unlike many leagues, this league has elite players that are mixed game players
Yeah.
in it. I mean, you got bracelet winners, you got people who are
WPT
that make their
champions, yeah.
living off of playing poker in
Or
that
join
league.
the league 5 years ago, and you can't stay in the league and not get better. You
Yes.
have to learn because people
Right.
do talk about their hands. And we, even if you play at the Orleans and you play one of the 150 tournaments, for example, they lowered the triple draw tournament. It's a mixed triple draw. It's got Badoogie, Ace to 5, and Deuce to 7 triple draw. And now that it's only 150 people will come. They've never played the games
try.
before. They will call 3 bets cold and draw 5. Okay, let's have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think that I encourage everybody. Look, $150 to learn 3 games,
That's what you're going to pay a coach.
or you can and you can go to have dinner for $150. I mean, so it's a really good investment for yourself, and it's very entertaining. Even when you're like just staring at the cards, going, "I have no idea what I'm doing."
That's funny.
You will pick it up just by watching the other people playing and what it is that they're playing, and you'll start to absorb that information. And I love that people are trying to do that, and I love that they made it $150.
I also believe that mixed games are the wave of the future.
And me too,
They
baby.
used to say no limit was the Cadillac of poker, and I think people are generally bored. Most poker players have ADD, OCD, and all these other disorders. Yes, I'm a licensed social worker. I could say that, but it's true. Our attention span is, so we need something to keep us in the game and to keep us excited. And I have always said that. It's not that I hate ladies' events. I hate No Limit. I play it. And I've done well in it, but I just get too bored just playing 2 cards. It's like, where's my other cards? I want that excitement.
Yeah.
I just said this to Lupe. I played a tournament recently, and I said that they don't understand how hard this is for me.
Yeah.
And they think I'm saying that.
She came over to complain during the break, and I was like, "Girl, you talking to the choir?"
Yeah, they think I'm saying it's like an angle. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm like bored out of my I would rather watch paint dry than do this.
Yeah.
So I always have to load my phone with like movies or
Stuff,
TV shows that I haven't watched, and then I put on my headphones. But in a mixed game, I
there's
never
no
do
time
that.
for that.
No.
There's too much happening.
I can't pay
There's
attention to
too much
anything else.
happening. Yeah.
When I'm
Too
playing
much
a mixed
happening,
game.
especially during the stud games. You really have to pay attention.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how certain players behave at the table. And I've heard this several times, and maybe you concur, but mixed game players are a different beast of
We
people.
are.
Yes.
But
And
we're fun.
many are.
Okay.
Where is this going, Lupe?
And
I
already know where it's going.
Yeah, I mean, most recently I've heard from a lot of people who do not play and have, dipped their big toe into a mixed game here and there. And they just said, I don't know what it is about mixed game players, but they're crotchety. They belittle you. They do all these things to you, and I think that in the mixed community, people are more likely to say something about the game that you played or how you played a specific hand than I see happening in Hold'em. Do you think that that is true?
I think there's more conversation happening. Like in Hold'em, a lot of times you're going to get at a table and nobody's really talking to each other. They got their headphones on. They're very serious, sunglasses on. In mixed games, you don't see that a lot. But what you do see is, first of all, the mixed game community is a much smaller community. So if I go to the Wynn and I play a $600 horse tournament, I know half the people in the field.
Right.
So we all know each other. And I think that a lot of that, the familiarity gives us permission to say, really, you stayed in for your 2-outer because we know each other. And I think that's the perception is, wow, like they're really mean. But what they don't know is that if I sit at a table with 8 people, I probably know 6 out of the 8 people. I made a final table last night. I'm not promoting myself. I'm just telling you a situation. But I did make the final table in OE last night. There were 8 of us, and I knew 7.
Yes.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
yeah, I mean, we all know each other. I know how they play. We still play hard against each other.
Mhm.
You know, there's no soft playing there. As a matter of fact, we play harder against each other. And, you know, sometimes I get very upset at my so-called mixed game friends, but I don't let them know that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like,
right.
what is he doing? Why is he playing that hand? And
Yeah.
you want them to.
Well, I'm very excited. Jeannie's going to join me, and we're going to teach
yes.
30-something players how to play Raz, Stud, and Stud 8. And
That's cool.
it's called Women's Wednesday, and it's just women. Peter might show up because he never seems not to realize it's just for women. But for the most part, it's for women, and it's to encourage women to jump into mixed games.
You're close now. You have.
Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is
I was
because
gonna
we
ask
could have
you.
easily had 6-8 tables with
Right.
the amount of interest that there was.
Wow.
So if somebody
that's
shows up,
exciting.
That's so cool.
so if somebody shows up and they're not on the list to sit at a table, are they allowed to watch?
They can
Because
watch,
some
but
people
it'll be
have
very
asked me that.
difficult. It'll be very difficult for them to really, because they're going to have to be able to see the table and, you know, to be able to
And that's
see all the
uncomfortable
parts.
for the person
Yeah,
sitting
the
in the
person
seat.
next to them. You know, we have already accommodated it for 9 people, even though in mixed it's usually 8. We just want
That's
people
fine.
to be able to see.
Right.
And they're going to be able to practice and that kind of thing. So, and we do want to make sure that there's one teacher at every table for those particular people. There's a lot to learn, you
Yeah.
know, in a mixed game. Jeannie's going to be teaching the people who actually have played the game before, but they need more like understanding on what are good starting hands and what are
Strategy.
you know, the strategies and stuff and how you play things cash versus, you know, tournament. And of course, she's an amazing mixed game tournament player.
Thank you.
So I wish I was sitting at that table.
So when is this, Lupe?
It is a good question. It's the
Couple of weeks.
16th of February, I believe.
That's
There's
soon.
an entire mixed game series going on, 2
Yeah.
mixed game series that same week. So you have
2?
Yes, you have
Oh.
Robbie Straczynski's Mixed Game Festival, and then you have The Win is also putting on a horse, an OE, I think a horse, the same week. So every single day, Monday through Friday, you have a $400
The
mixed
Orleans?
game.
The win.
Win.
The win. Oh,
Yes.
Jeez.
What's their price?
So
And
one
those are like $600 buy-ins?
400.
Oh, 400. That's
Yes.
really good. Okay.
And the other thing I was going to say is, and I think I talked about this in the last podcast, but I have this email distribution list. And anybody who wants to get on a can, all you got to do is send me your email address and
I don't know
your
how I'm
name.
not on that. All right, I'm sending you my email.
Send me your email
Because
address.
you're never here.
My email address is Jeanne Riders, that's JeanRiders @gmail.com. If you send me your email address, you'll get on this distribution list. And the way it started was so many years ago when I first came back from the Isle of Man, and people were like, well, I didn't know that they were having a tournament. I said, well, you know what? I always know that there's a tournament in town. The next thing I know, I have 300-400 people on this email list. So
Oh, wow.
a lot of people say, oh, I had no idea this was going on if I didn't get your email. And there's a $400 horse tournament this coming Saturday. It's a Super Bowl $400 horse tournament at the Orleans. It starts at noon if anybody wants to
well,
get in there.
because of who's playing, that sounds more fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
In the
I'm
Super
not
Bowl.
a football person, so I still
Oh.
don't know who's playing.
That's okay.
It's just the
That's
Chiefs
okay.
every year. Don't worry.
Yeah.
They just go every
And
single
the
year.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Go Chiefs.
No.
No.
Eagles.
Opposite.
Sorry. Listen, you're talking
You know,
to somebody
we're
who...
going for underdogs here, and you know,
Who's the underdog?
Philadelphia
Philly.
Eagles.
Okay, you're talking to somebody who actually thought a safety was the thing that the men wear to protect their balls when they're playing. I had no idea. Debbie Burkhead had to straighten that shit out. But what I was going to say is, so anytime there's a mixed game in town or a special event, I will email the distribution list. It's blind copied. I'll never share your email, but if you want to get on there, I will go ahead and add you to my email distribution list.
I have a
That's
Genie folder
fantastic.
in my email.
You're on it.
I said I have
and
a-
so are you.
I just said I have a
I'm
Genie
on.
folder.
Yeah, she's
It
on
Oh,
goes-
okay.
Genie, I'll
You get
on.
I'll put
filtered
you
into
on
a
it.
Genie filter.
I don't even know how to do that. But
I'm more in Australia
keep 'em.
now, and it's hard. We don't have horse, nothing. It's sad. All I have is PLA, but I'm getting really good at PLA, so I'm not bitching. but
Okay.
it's better than nothing.
I taught PLO at Poker Stars when I was in London. They asked me to teach it. I don't know if I was the best teacher about PLO, but it was okay.
That's pretty
I think
funny.
I was like, I probably would have taught horse better than I would
It's
have
a
taught
very
PLO.
different game.
It is.
But I
It
did
is.
with the basics.
I
so.
love PLO.
I love
actually.
PLO too.
But, you know, it's
I mean,
a bit
it's
scary.
as wild as No Limit for sure.
Yeah,
And-
definitely.
But
But I always want to play high-low, and no one wants to play. They don't want to. And I'm
no,
like,
nobody
no.
plays PLO 8. You never
No.
find
Big
it.
O.
Big O.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
Here
Big
they
O,
do.
But it's
That's
Yeah, they do.
it's
here.
5 card though. You know, it's
8 or
not-
better they play. Here too.
We
You can
play
get a
PLO
cash
8?
game, yeah.
Where?
Orleans.
They play it all week.
No,
they
they
have,
don't. No, they
no,
don't.
nobody plays PLO 8.
No.
They have Big O tournaments,
Yeah.
lots
Right.
of them, which is 5
Oh,
card
Golden
high-low.
Nugget did it last year for their one
They
series.
did, because I played one somewhere.
Anybody show up?
Me.
Yeah.
No, there was quite a few people, but they weren't our normal people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're not your normal people.
No.
our normal
No,
people.
no mixed game players are normal people.
No, I
There's
mean,
a lot
I
of
want to play
out-of-towners.
Omaha
That's what I
High-Low,
meant.
and they don't want to play in Melbourne High-Low.
Yes, I guess I wasn't
Then
saying
I
they
wanna
were not
split
normal.
card.
I was saying it was not the normal people you
That
play
point.
with. Okay, let's me
Right.
clarify
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
They were just fine. They were very nice people. Just was not the regular crew I'm used to. When I walk, like she's saying, you have very familiarity. So when you walk in a place, you probably know a big percentage of the room.
We just made an interesting observation the other day. We were talking about how if you look in the mixed game results in a tournament from $400 and up, it's the same damn people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the cashers are the same people, you know, within, 30 people or so. But, they're just consistently playing at that level and having success. And, you're one of those people.
Thank you.
And, it's
Well,
amazing to me.
That's what I was saying. What she was saying about being in a league, like you're playing with the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be the same people.
We consider it all practice for the World Series,
Yeah.
which the schedule has not come out yet, and we're all freaking out
everyone's
because
asking me too.
Well, it's a
bit
little
late.
late. It's not
Well,
too late.
Gigi owns it now, so
well, we're still waiting for the Horseshoe Circuit event because there's a series of mixed games in every series, especially in the Horseshoe. They still have not put out the schedule, and it's 5 weeks away. So
yeah, I got a message.
something
yesterday.
big is going on, I think.
Really? Changes?
I hear rumors. Here's a rumor.
Okay, I love
Okay,
rumors.
Go,
All right.
go.
First rumor I
You
heard
heard
is
it here first.
First rumor I heard is that Planet Hollywood is opening back up their poker room.
I heard that last night at Bailey's Poker Room
Okay.
from
so
a dealer.
that Planet Hollywood is
Yes.
opening. They're taking over the second floor, which is
The
where
mezzanine.
they used to have
right.
all of the big tournaments. So it's very possible that the circuit event may move over there. I'm just guessing. That's not any rumor that I heard. But I did hear that Planet Hollywood is opening back up in March, which makes sense why they're delaying the announcement about the circuit event schedule. Because if they are having it at Planet Hollywood instead of the Horseshoe,
Yeah.
so
The difference, I think, is purely financial because when they have to use the ballrooms at the Horseshoe, it's a whole different deal than if they just use a floor in the
Right.
mezzanine on the casino floor.
the downside of that is that every night,
Oh, it's 7
yes,
p.m.
Oh, the
Yes.
music's
7
pumping.
p.m., the music was so loud.
You can't hear a raise.
You can't hear the dealer making announcements, and I'm sure it hasn't changed. I'm sure
No.
the nightclub is still where it is, which is on the second floor.
Mhm.
So that is a little bit of a hindrance.
Well, they blast that music throughout.
but I'm
the
still
casino.
excited
Yeah,
about
they
it.
turn
Yeah.
up.
I know that was literally my first thought when you said it. I was like, oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, mine too. And the smoke.
because it
The
was
smoke
so,
rises
that
because the
room.
table games are right underneath, and it just rises up.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's
that's not my
We'll
favorite
see.
place at
mine
all.
either.
But hopefully they'll announce the WSOP schedule soon. And, all these mixed games, everybody says, yeah, it's just practice for the big ones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, you want to be the best, you got to play with the best.
That's for sure.
Well, I played with the best and got my ass handed to me. So there
Well,
is that.
I do too. So I keep coming back.
Maybe
from
you should come back to
Rotorua.
the league.
Yeah, Lupe.
No. I I'll be able to play the league when I stop traveling too much.
Okay.
Then I can come back. It surprises me that the older I get, even though it's probably the same amount of work I've done every other year, it feels harder.
Yeah.
It
It's
is
like,
harder. I traveled
it's
a lot
exhausting.
last year. My last big trip was that London,
No.
Malta, Atlantic
Yes.
City. That was crazy. I damn near died on the plane on the way home because of my heart. And then I had another stent put
Didn't
in.
you have a flatbed? Come on.
No.
You did. You went in coach?
Yes.
Oh my! I thought you had a flatbed. You had an
No,
upgrade.
those days were over. When I retired from Poker Stars,
Yeah.
they used to say, "Miss David, would you like your pajamas now?" And I would go to sleep and wake up to a beautiful breakfast, and I was in London.
Oh
but
my!
no, that trip was so much fun, though.
Oh my
Come
gosh.
on.
It was.
It was. We had a blast.
We had a tour guide.
We did.
In London. One of my friends from my old colleague from Poker Stars took us everywhere.
Oh.
Buckingham Palace and where else?
We did it all. We walked through the park. We went
Hyde Park.
Yes.
Hyde Park. We came out
Trafalgar
on the
Trafalgar
Square.
Square.
Hippodrome.
the Bend, the Big Bend.
Big
Tower.
Ben.
Yeah, we went all over the place
We
in
went
one day.
everywhere. We saw
Oh
the
my gosh.
church where
Yeah.
Di and Charles got married, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Westminster
lovely.
Abbey.
Yeah, and they went to Hippodrome, but there wasn't much. We weren't playing a big tournament there at the time. That
Yeah.
was just a.
no, we went
So-
for dinner.
It went for dinner and I ate chop chop. It was good.
That's fun.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a blast.
So you're open to traveling. So if there's any poker festivals out there that are thinking about having like mixed games and need ambassadors, maybe were you willing
It's
to
so
travel?
funny because I'm thinking this is the year I'm going to stay home.
No.
I'm just going to maybe go up to Thunder Valley, which I just did, and no, I said this is the year I'm not traveling except for my once a year trip back east when I go for
Barge.
East Coast
At large.
Barge. Yes,
Yeah.
at well, it's what is it? Oh, it's
can't remember.
Fargo.
Fargo.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
Fargo.
it used to be at Foxwoods. So it was Foxwoods annual excursion. Now it's at Mohegan Sun. But yes, if there's an opportunity for me to host some mixed games, I'm there.
Yeah.
You know that.
That's good news.
Jeez. Have they published those dates yet for this year, for 2025?
Yes.
Mohegan Sun?
Yes. Do you want
Oh.
to come?
I'm thinking about, well, it depends on when it is.
Okay. I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I'll send them to you.
I need to go to the
Okay,
east.
this barge thing, that's another little secret mixed games group going on.
It is. It's been going on
I don't
since
know
I
how
don't know that
secret
it's a
it is.
secret
It's
at all.
like the foundation.
it's not
I'm
a
told
secret.
about it all the time. So.
But it was publicly announced. I will tell you, so you guys may be interested. So it's, all those mixed games you guys play at resorts, well, where the hell do you think they came from?
Yeah,
The
I know.
Dramaha, the Badusi, Badesi, they all came from Barge.
That's where I learned them.
And what we would do is Barge has been going on since the early 90s, and it was a small group. It was the Bay Area. That's why it's called Barge. And then they moved it to Vegas eventually. I've been a member since 2003, 4. So pretty much 21 years. And originally what they would do is they would have these festival games. And on Saturday night after the main event, they would play the craziest, wildest games. Sometimes they had dice involved, but they had Dramaha, Binglaha, all of those.
Chawaha.
Chawaha. And now all the mixed games that you guys are playing are based on
Variations
what,
of it.
yes, what Barge actually, these guys made up. So they now moved Barge they have 2, a winter barge here at Resorts World, and they have the barge at Westgate, and they just moved it to the Orleans
Oh.
for the first time in a long time, because they used to have it at
Yeah,
the
I remember
Orleans.
that.
Mhm.
So it will be like the first week in August, or can't remember, last week in July, but I'll let you guys know. And I really believe because it's moving over to the Orleans, and a lot of it is mixed games. There's only one No Limit Hold'em,
Mhm.
and that's just some crazy variation of No Limit Hold'em. So they're all a lot of fun,
Mhm.
and I think that they'll get a pretty big crowd this year
Yeah.
because they already have the mixed game crowd. They'll
Right.
hear about it,
Mhm.
but you do have to
Absolutely.
register
You
before.
have to be a member too. You have to
be a
become
member, which costs $30.
Oh,
You
that's not
register
much.
online, and then you can show up for any or all of the tournaments.
That's cool.
And that's one-time membership for the year, and that's any
Yeah.
of the festivals that they have.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fun.
That's very cool. So
Yeah.
what's next for Jeanne David?
Sleep. Can I tell you a story that has nothing to do with poker?
Sure.
Absolutely.
I'm losing sleep. I really am. So I had 4 cats at one time, and now I'm down to 1, and that's Bobo. Well, I mean, they were old. And I have Bobo, and Bobo's wonderful. And Bobo just lives with me and goes where I go. Well, the coyotes, I was actually on the news, and
I
the
saw
coyotes
that.
got a couple of my feral cats. So I got this cat who has been there ever since I bought the house in 2014. So 10 years ago, he's been living outside. Big furry cat. We call him Mr. Big. He's been outside for 10 years. Well, I got so scared that the coyotes were going to get him, and I moved him inside. I got him to come in. It took months to get him to come in. Well, he figured out this isn't so bad. So one day I'm
Is it a
lying, and he would
streets or a
sleep.
palace?
He would
Oh,
sleep
yeah,
on
I
my
wonder.
couch. He would sleep on my couch every night, and I
my.
would see him through. I have a little camera that goes into the living room. And one day I'm lying in bed with Bobo, and we're watching TV, and he shows up in the hall, and he's looking in the bedroom, going, "Well, what the heck is this? Why aren't I in here?" He just walked in and jumped on the bed.
Oh.
And Bobo was so pissed off. He got off the bed, he went upstairs, and he moved into the guest room. He moved out. I had to put his litter box upstairs, his food upstairs. He's like, "Fuck you, bitch. Sorry." And he just moved out. And I'm like, what is going on? So now I have this cat who is obsessed with me. He can't get enough. He's insatiable.
Wow.
And he has to be with me all the time. If I get off the bed to go like do one little thing, he jumps down, walks with me, comes back, gets back on the bed.
Oh, it's cute.
So I lose a little bit of sleep.
I'm pretty sad for Bobo right now.
It's breaking my heart. So
I get random Bobo pictures.
well, now what I do is I divide my time. So
my.
a couple of times a week, I have to take my pillow and I take my phone and my bottle of
Oh, my
water, and I
God.
go upstairs and I sleep in the guest room with
Oh my God.
Jeannie, there's cat wars.
Cat Wars. That's what it is.
Wow.
But what's really next is there are a whole series of mixed games through the Wind, through Resorts World, and then they have the spring festivals. So I'm really staying local until the World Series. That's my plan.
Yeah, June, the big
Nice.
one.
Yeah, and then I'll play, and then I go back east, and that's it. So if an opportunity comes up for me to go someplace else, you got my number.
I got
Yeah.
it, baby. I got it.
Absolutely.
I'm really trying to focus hard on my game, and horse is kind of going to be a thing of the past because now it's torse,
Yeah.
and triple draw mix has replaced limit
Oh.
hold'em, and so the other rumor is they are going to have a $1,500 torse event at the
Oh,
World
that's
Series,
great.
and I'm
Oh,
so
wow.
Triple Draw is
excited.
actually my favorite game.
Triple draw is great.
100%
Love
my
it.
favorite game.
Yeah,
I love
it's
it.
a tough
Any of the triple
game.
draws.
It is a tough game. You can lose a lot of chips, and that's why go practice. They have a Taurus on Tuesdays, 150 at 4:00 at the Orleans, and that's what I'm doing. Is I'm, studying, learning the game,
Yeah.
trying different things. I will never three-bet call. I will never call 3 bets cold and then draw 4 or 5. I promise.
Is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
No, you are not supposed to be drawing 4
Oh,
or
I get
5.
it because if you should be in the hand, basically.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're
Got
the
it.
big blind and nobody
You have
raised
to have a
it,
decent starting hand in triple draw, but I see a lot of crazy moves by people who really know the game, and
What's
they
a-
do that.
What's a
It's all about
starting
position.
hand? What's a good
well, it
starting
depends
hand?
on which game you're playing.
So a wheel is 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay, that's
In-
your wheel.
In deuce to 7.
Straights and flushes do matter, which means you can't have a flush. You can't have 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 of clubs. You can't have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the worst hand you can have.
Okay.
So the wheel is called 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 aces high. Your starting hand should have at least 3 cards, or at least, it depends. You could be on the button and have a deuce and a 7. You have a 6 in your hand, generally they'll tell you don't play it. Like if you have 4, 5, 6, that's
Yeah.
not a good starting hand. So you
Okay.
should have at least 2, preferably 3 to a wheel.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, this is a perfect segue. We have, we're starting a new mixed games group. It'll be called the Mixed Game Players. And literally, it's to teach mixed games. And the goal is to have them recorded at the Venetian when they open up their live stream.
Yeah.
So that we can offer them to everybody and people can start looking. And the next portion of that is to actually live stream some cash games of mixed games so that people start becoming familiar with what the mixed games are. And Not going too crazy, probably not the drama ha's and all that kind of stuff, more the traditional, like an 8-game kind of a format, so that people get exposed to it. Because I promise you, if you learn 2 or 3 of the mixed games, just get familiar with them, you're going to find that poker is a whole lot more fun than just Hold'em.
So do they spread mixed games right now at the Venetian, or
They
this
do
is
not.
something that they're planning?
This is a plan.
Okay.
And so, just like anytime you start something new in a casino or a poker room, it takes time for the dealers to learn them. They're taught usually how to do every game, but when you're talking about the variants of the mixed games, like the drama halls and all that stuff, we don't expect the dealers to know everything. We just teach them how to pitch, and then there's like 2 or 3 people at the table that really know the rules well, and we help with decisions and stuff like that if the time arises. But we're very excited about this, and the future plan is also to have a mixed game tour. So,
wow.
Yeah.
This is what she's been
That's
working
what we're
on.
working on, and it's been a lot of work, but that's the goal. And
I love that.
I think that when people are
Exciting.
looking or getting bored with Hold'em, this is a really good segue to being in poker for a very long lifetime. And also, the other part of it is that it is a limit format. It's an entirely different game than No Limit. And even if you play PLO, that plays a lot like No Limit. But when it's a limit game, you learn totally different strategies. And, I'm excited to expose new players or longtime poker players that have never been exposed to poker mixed games, and it's a very, very exciting time for me. Anyway, I feel like this is my last chapter, in my poker life.
When you do this, where can somebody find the information?
Well, there's mixedgameplayers.com, and then there will be a tab to the Mixed Game Poker Tour.
Nice.
So mixedgameplayers.com, is that a site that's up and running now?
It is live, but it is not scheduled.
Okay.
Because it was supposed to be scheduled, but there's a slight delay in the streaming room being finished. So, and we are not the priority for that streaming room, let me just say. Because it's a really, they've done an amazing job as to how they're going to start streaming over at the Venetian, and it's the only streaming room in town outside of Poker Go Studios, which is a whole other ball game, right? But this is really exciting.
I've yet to see it.
The
I
Venetian
don't
or the
even know
streaming
where
room?
it is.
It's
poker room?
inside the poker room in
It's
the back.
in the mall.
In the mall.
Yes.
The poker room's in
Okay.
the mall.
Yes.
I've never been there.
Oh, you got to
Yeah.
come.
It's
It's
beautiful.
a
It is
lovely
really
room.
nice. It is very nice room.
And it's easy access because you go straight up from the
But they need to
parking
play
lot.
mixed games for Jeanne to get there.
But it's clean and there's no smoke. And that's
Okay.
what's killed me here. This trip, the smoking.
Yeah.
It's horrific in the casinos. I can't even deal with it. So the Venetian Poker Room has amazing, clear, clean air. And it's beautiful, clean room, nice and new.
So you need to buy one of these.
Oh,
Okay. So
You guys got something in her.
And she's not endorsed by them.
I am not endorsed by
Not
them,
sponsored.
but this is a lifesaver because when somebody comes back from the tournament and they stink of pot, cigarettes,
yes.
cologne,
Vapors.
It is
Everything.
a problem.
the combination, and then they think, oh, well, I'm just going to smoke a joint in my car and I'll just put on this cheap ass cologne, and they smell worse than you can ever imagine, like horrible. So
It is a
I
real
got this
thing, yeah.
little portable air thing, and you turn it on. I'm going to show you.
Oh my God, guys, you have to watch this
Yes,
video.
you
This
whoops.
on video.
Okay, so you turn this on, and it's a little blue light. All right, well, maybe the battery's dead, and I need to charge
you
it. That
can use
probably
it
would
a
make
lot.
Because
sense.
you just came out
But-
the plan.
All right. Well, I'm never going to endorse this product. No, I did forget to charge it because I didn't
You're
get home
using
till
it,
1 in the
yeah.
morning. But there it is. See,
Oh,
See,
yeah.
yeah.
so
Okay.
you see that, and then it's like this air and it protects you. It gives you this little
Bubble?
shield.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you come in and you just smoked a cigarette, I am not going to smell it because I have my little
Wow.
thing here.
That's
Yeah, 'cause
wow.
It's really cool.
That
really
brings
is.
me
And it
back to
does
the
work.
days when I first started playing poker, and it was smoking in the poker room.
They were
And
so
it's
smart.
called Pure Air.
Yeah.
And you can get it on Amazon. It
Wow,
was
Pure Air.
$79.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I
every
should be an
dollar.
ambassador for
You
this.
should.
Yeah,
You should.
you should contact them.
Contact them.
I'll add it in the caption.
Yeah,
See
yeah,
what they say.
Pure.
Say hey. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, I
It's
had
a free
to
endorsement.
bring that up
Yeah.
because somebody told me about this and I
I mean,
bought
there
it.
was no smoking in the casino, entire casino where we were just in Costa Rica.
Really?
There's no
It's
smoking.
completely smoke-free.
There's no
Did
smoking
you guys
in
have
Melbourne.
fun?
We did.
Yeah.
We did. Had a
Oh.
great time.
Blast, yeah.
We're going to talk about that next.
Yeah.
But
I've
In
been
our
there.
next segment.
I think
yeah.
the last time I was in Costa Rica was 2020. It was for Poker Stars.
Yeah,
But
I
it
think
was
mine
so-
was like. I think mine was like 2020 as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I never really saw the country because we got picked up in this van and it was night and we went to this place that was like a compound for the people that were
Save
going to
it.
be doing this.
Save it.
And
We're about to discuss
yeah.
it.
But anyway,
But
yeah, and we never left.
yeah, it was amazing. No smoking in the poker room. So nice. The whole,
The whole casino, the
the
hotel, everything.
everything.
And it was lovely.
No
Yeah.
smoking at all?
No.
None.
Wow.
You Matter of
Because they're
fact,
very
I didn't even see people
eco-diverse.
smoking.
They're eco-diverse. They care about the
Which is-
environment.
Night and day from where the last trip to Costa Rica was.
They should
Yeah.
just make smoking illegal.
I hate smoking too.
It's just a lot when you're in the poker room and it's around the poker room, but it's not. Thank God it's not in the poker rooms here. Like,
Yeah.
don't we have who banned the smoking here? Was it a
Linda and
Jan?
Jan.
Lynn and Jen.
Mhm.
yeah.
Don't we have them to
They were
thank?
heading. There was an organization called the World Poker Organization. I can't remember what the hell they called it, but
WPO, World Poker Organization.
is that what it was?
Yeah.
It
I'm
was-
not sure.
it was
Where are you going?
before- It was before they did TDA, and it
Okay.
was the first, like bringing together the people who were poker room managers and people who were like industry people, and that was where that originated from. And they started that whole campaign against abuse at the poker
And smoking.
Well, that was Casey Castle was
And-
the
yes,
yeah.
and smoking,
Smoking.
banning
Casey
smoking.
Castle went around the world
Mhm.
and he advocated for poker rooms to cut out smoking, and that was because of him. He just passed away.
Is that
Oh,
right?
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a great guy. He used to travel with us on the European Poker Tour.
Hmm.
and you can thank him for it.
Mhm.
I
That's awesome.
do every
I
day.
believe it was him and Tom McAvoy that
Yeah.
did
There was
their
a big-
campaigning.
Well, that's great. We're
Yeah.
running out of time. We
I
always talk so
know.
much when you're here.
Sorry.
No, it's not
No,
your fault
it's
at all.
great. It's
I'm going to go
great.
play an Omaha
We,
tournament now.
we lose track of time. I'm like, oh, Jeannie's here.
Yeah, and that's so fabulous. But really, we thank you. We are so incredibly honored to have you as part of the Hall of Fame now. And
Can I
Be
tell
one
you,
of our
I was
sisters.
absolutely shocked when you gave me that phone call. I really did not expect, I didn't even think
Yeah.
I would make the short list because I don't really think about that kind of, that was my job to go
Mhm.
around and, speak to senators and congressmen. But when you gave me that phone call, I was at the final table of a tournament
Yeah.
at the Orleans, and and they kept asking me, "Oh, do you know?" And I said, "No, I have no idea." And she called me, and I said, "Oh my God!" So I stepped away from the table, and she told me, and I literally dropped to my knees and
Mhm.
started crying.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they were watching me, and I couldn't tell them, and I had to say, "Oh my God, oh my God!" And when I got back, they said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm fine.
I'm
I'm fine. It was just an emotional conversation." They go, "Did you win?" And I said, "No, win what? I was the best actress."
Academy
And
Award.
tears were coming down my eyes because I
Oh.
really was. I just want you to know,
Yeah.
I was so honored to be a part of this special elite group. It really just it took my breath away when she told me.
I think
Yeah.
it's crazy that you felt that way, though,
Yeah,
because to
like
me,
how?
the fact that you weren't like, I was like, it was a no brainer.
Uh-huh.
I was like,
I didn't.
to me, it was no brainer. Like, I was like, oh, Jeannie's got to get in.
Get in, yeah.
Yeah.
I know we have to go. I met a woman at the poker table the other day, and she was really nice. And we're talking. She goes, "I like you. I want to be friends with you. We have to hang out." And then I said, "Well, you can friend me on Facebook." And I never said anything. And then she's looking through the Facebook, and she's like, "What? Who are you?" And I said, "I'm nobody. I'm just a poker player like you."
We
so
love you
wonderful.
so much, and you're such a great ambassador.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me here.
Of course.
Absolutely. And
Thank you for coming.
you guys, you can go watch her acceptance speech, which was fabulous, and at the Jeanne
David.
Jeanne
YouTube,
David
just
YouTube
Google
channel.
me,
Just
I
Jeanne
guess,
David
because I
YouTube.
don't know what it is.
No, I
All
think
your
that's
But if
fine.
you want to be on my mixed game email list, it's jeanriders@gmail.com, and I will
Jeanne
add
Riders, because she
Yes.
was a Harley girl.
Because I owned a Harley, baby. I did. An 85 Softail.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was why I
Full
of
had that name
surprises.
from
Yeah.
the early
Well, thank you again
90s.
so much. And for all of you for joining us here at the Real Poker Girls, and on behalf of Rebecca and Tatiana and myself, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.